Welcome, everybody, to Brown Bag Bets, powered by BetsBirds. We are your daily dose of quick hit handicapping. I'm Alex Christensen, joining you from the now snow-covered Philadelphia area. It's lovely, Andy. We got the nice big white flakes. We've got about 6 inches. It's real fluffy. I hear it'd be good stuff for people to ski on, but I don't know much about that. How are things in the Great White North? Have we gotten to 0 degrees yet?
We are above 0 today. It is lovely this time of year now. The sun is out. It's like 5-6 degrees. Actually, we're probably warmer. No, it is 5 degrees. So it's 5 degrees, which is great, honestly, in comparison. We're going to push over 10 today. It's going to be a lovely day. My car started on the first try. Everything is trending upwards for me. So very excited about that. And yes. And yeah, I have the same background. We had a Canadian guest on last night on the deep dive, so I still have my Tim Hortons background, making fun of him. Although we did have 5 Tim Hortons in the Twin Cities here in Minnesota that just didn't make it because apparently we don't have the Canadian immigrant population that we thought we did. Otherwise, fun night last night. Tennis was cool. Continuing to basically all your totals, like anytime you bet a tennis total, it seems to work out. Not only they're not skimping by. There all have been like 3 sets with at least a tiebreaker or a 7-5 in it. So it's nice not to sweat any of those that I've been tailing you on. Central Florida bent Southern Florida over and said, this is our Florida. We will dominate the directional Florida basketball from here on out. I mean, they were up by like 20 at one point, ended up covering by an easy margin. If you took some first half, which I did because I was feeling degenerate yesterday, they covered that as well. So a couple winners yesterday. Golf started today. Tennis is winding down. We talked with Kelly Garrett last night on the deep dive, like I said, about the the tennis schedule going forward. I left more confused than I started. So we're just going to take tennis tournament by tournament, one at a time. I'm not going to look too far ahead. That was very screwy to me. So what is next for the women? He doesn't really do women as much as it came out funny.
Well, we're down here. We've got the finals on the women's side. It's going to be Jennifer Brady, my outright pick, who is unfortunately a very big underdog to Destroyer of Worlds, Naomi Osaka. Yeah. Osaka really just having a fantastic tournament. I spent a lot of time talking on preview shows about how I thought she could win this tournament, but it was going to be tough. I mean, her path is just littered with good players, and it was, and she beat each and every single one of them. At this point, I think Garbiñe Muguruza is the only one who's really gotten close. Jennifer Brady has struggled here a little bit, but she still has that top end kind of level where if she can find that and bottle it for even half a dozen games, this match could be very interesting. I'm not expecting that. Osaka is the huge market favorite here. I'm seeing minus 500, and she continues to take money. She opened, I think, in the minus 300 to she's probably close to 325 range, and money is poured in on her, again, all the way out to minus 500 here. So if you do have a Brady outright ticket, I'll be tweeting out some sort of hedging strategy for that later. I think we're just going to buy out for as much profit as we can lock in at this point because it's Osaka's playing great. Again, there's a small part of me. Yeah. There's a small part of me that thinks Brady might be able to pull it off, but I'm going to grab the value, enjoy having done well picking the outright price correctly. And if she wins, oh, well, at least I already made some money, I guess.
Yeah, no, and it's nice to get a longer shot, even though she is a very big underdog. She would have been a big underdog versus Serena as well. Not as big, but it's tough. And yeah, I'm team never hedge, but in this case, like with her price being what her price is, I mean, what's your best price you got on Brady? 40?
Yeah, 40 to 1 is what I have.
So, I mean, 1 divided by 41. So you're saying a 2.4% chance to win the tournament. It's not like I'm giving her a 2.4% chance to win this match, but I'm not giving it that much more. I'm not giving it a 10% chance, honestly. Like I'm probably saying laying it with Osaka is almost value, although I'm not a huge fan of doing that with the variance of God knows what can happen and injuries and this. You never know. So I do not blame you whatsoever for extracting the value out of a very nicely placed future and just taking some money, ending the tournament on a nice note. And my plan for the women's final is I hope the men's final is good because this could just be this could be an hour, man. I mean, even the Serena match was like an hour and 15. it was over quickly. We saw that there was a slight pivot point when Serena broke back, and then it was just boom, 40 love, broke her again, serving for the match, and then it's done. Wham damn, thank you, ma'am, and we're moving on to the finals. So excited for the other semifinal tonight with Med and City, and excited for regardless of what happens there, we're going to have a very good final, I believe, in the men's side. So looking forward to some tennis this weekend. But for tonight, I didn't play anything on Medvedev Tsitsipas. I don't think you did either. But
I was looking at Med. Yeah, our good buddy Kelly gave out Medvedev -4, and I might join him on that because there's actually some money coming in on Tsitsipas. I might be able to get -3.5 at a reasonable number. As I start to look at the match, I mean, Medvedev, I think, is clearly the better player, deserving to be the favorite here. As I go back and look at their history and start to think about kind of the styles of play here, I think Medvedev is the kind of player that's going to win more sets, say 6-3, 6-4, where I think Tsitsipas wins are going to look more like 6-4, maybe a tie-break thing like that. So I just think the style kind of gives Medvedev the advantage here already on the game spread, let alone the fact that I think the market here is kind of coming in on the wrong player. So I'm going to wait here a little bit and see how far this goes. But if you have a -3.5 at around, standard juice, grab a little bit of that.
Dig it. So, and yeah, like I said earlier than that, we will have some NBA tonight. Any thoughts on the slate from you? What say you?
It's tough. There's only 3 games. The NBA likes to on Tuesdays and Thursdays, especially. Again, Thursday is a special day. I assume it's like a TNT kind of broadcast deal they have. So you get some marquee games. We'll have Toronto, Milwaukee here in the first game. I'm waiting on injury news for Kyle Lowry. He got hurt late in the last game, I'd say about halfway through the third quarter, and did not come back to play for Toronto. Toronto was still able to hold on and win that game. It was great. It was a nice money line underdog hit for us, as well as, of course, they covered the spread there. I like Toronto again tonight, but I want to make sure that Lowry's in. It's a problem of just a roster construction problem. As Lowry comes out, I don't like the next couple guys that are going to slide in and kind of soak up those minutes for Toronto. It puts Aaron Baines probably back on the floor starting, which really isn't great. I think that Toronto found a lot of success last night, basically going totally small against a team in Milwaukee that does not have a traditional center. They don't have anyone that's going to try to post up, who's going to be coming down the rim. And with guys like Siakam and Powell on the floor, you actually get a little bit of rim protection, even to slow guys like Giannis down. So if Lowry is playing tonight, I'm going to be back on the Toronto Raptors. But until such time, we'll have to pass. The spread is 6.5. The money line should be kind of in the plus, I think, 230, 240, maybe even 250 range. Again, if Lowry's announced in, I'll be grabbing the money line for a little bit and then the spread for a full play.
And Drew brought that up. He said he does believe Lowry's sitting. And he said, and like you said, he echoed the same sentiments. He says that is an issue for the lineup they want to put out there, the smaller lineup that they want to use to their success, which they can use to their success, especially against a team like they face tonight. He says if Lowry's out, it's almost a play against. So I don't blame him there, just from what I've heard on both sides of this now. So yeah. It'll be weird. We're waiting to see if a player plays or not to make a bet in the NBA. That's NBA life, buddy.
Brooklyn Lakers is the second game. This one is just, again, too much unknown here. We know that Kevin Durant is going to be out. Kyrie Irving was out the other night. Maybe he's resting to play tonight against the Lakers. Otherwise, it's just James Harden and friends, and it's not as good of a version as he had in Houston there. The Lakers are without Anthony Davis. LeBron James, again, still playing well, still stacking up a lot of minutes. I have to wonder at some point if he is ever going to start to slow down here. So just kind of a stay away from me. If you wanted to attack this game, as crazy as it sounds coming out of my mouth, maybe take it over here. But I'm staying probably as far away as I can from this game.
Yeah, LeBron's so old. Like, he can't do this forever. Or maybe, maybe he can.
I'm not betting against it until he stops. The last game is another one that might be a play for me. Pretty close to playing this, frankly, just before we got on the show. But I want to do a little bit more homework here. Miami just keeps losing games and keeps looking bad despite having the better talent night in, night out. I'm of the opinion that this is a team that, again, hasn't had a chance to play a lot of games with each other. Them and the Mavericks specifically are still not quite out of kind of that preseason mode that we've seen a lot of teams kind of shake off the rust and start to play better basketball here. But gosh, to only be a 1.5-point favorite of the Sacramento Kings with Butler and Bam Adebayo healthy is looks like a lot of value to me. And at some point I will probably play that. We'll see. Just make sure you follow me on the BetSperts app. Again, Alex Christensen, just like you see down there below, but no space. And you'll get that when I send it out. So we'll probably have a wager on Miami at some point. And if Kyle Lowry is announced in, I will be on the Raptors.
I have a college basketball play that I just put in on BetSperts because I'd forgotten earlier because I had a busy morning, and I am seeing some oddness in the market. I don't know if there's something wrong with the feeds or there's something going on in the legal books, but I am playing Gardner Webb. I played him plus 3.5, plus 4. They're kind of bouncing around there. They played last night against Radford. If anybody has DraftKings, they can tell me if this is accurate or not. DraftKings apparently has plus 6. I checked some market making offshores just now, and they're sitting at 3.5, 4. So that would be very interesting if you can get a 5.5 or 6 on this. I would think that's pretty good value. I'd play this down to 3. These are two teams in the Gardner Webb running Bulldogs that played Radford last night. They remain in Radford, Virginia, play again. Radford is a team who is in the top 40 in the league, and not in the league, in the nation for a Big South team as far as offensive rebounding rate. The last 6 games, they won 3, and then they lost 3 straight. In the 3 that they won, they had 18, 15, and 13 offensive rebounds. The last 3 games that they lost, they had 5, 5, and 7. They got bullied up front. They got bullied on the boards by a team who's not all that big. They just play well. They had a guard with like 4 blocks last night for Gardner Webb. They are getting after them without a real true front court. So if you can get a 4.5, knock that out. And Kyle Joubert says bet DSI has 4.5. Yeah, good luck getting your money out of there. If you have a 4.5, knock yourself out. That's awesome. Brovada has some prices better too. So I played most of this at 4. I put 3.5 because that's kind of what I was seeing. But yeah, better numbers, always better for you. And yeah, Radford, it's just a middle of the pack offense. They play at a slow pace. If they're not getting extra possessions on the offensive boards like they did last night, they're really going to struggle. Gardner Webb is not a team that turns the ball over much, so there's just another way that they're not going to get any extra possessions. It's not a great offense. It's not a bad offense, but it does rely on getting some extra possessions to win games. This is the last game of the season for these teams. Some of these conferences are winding down. It was very weird to see no games scheduled after that. So go ahead and take the Big South finale. Gardner Webb, Radford, and I will be on the Running Bulldogs. I have no idea what time this game is. Assuming this evening. Hopefully it's not an afternoon one. I can't handle those.
Looks like it's an afternoon. It's all right. Of course. So, and then someone, real quick question: are you doing tourney stuff again? I'm very jaded from last year. I wrote all those preview articles. I made like 60 outright bets on the tournaments, the small conference tournaments, and although my sports books, all the accounts went up one day after the pandemic hit because all the future bets were returned to me, which was kind of nice. Like, oh, I got a bunch of money back. I pushed on like 14 tournament bets. But yeah, I will be doing tournament stuff. Whichever tournaments are out this year, that started as a project of mine personally because every single conference tournament is so different. Where some will have all neutral site games, some will have host teams and then move to neutral sites. Some have buys, some have double buys, some have triple buys, some have reseeding, some have shuffling around in that way. And as I started to take notes on each conference tournament, I realized I had been actually writing an article for each one without knowing it. So I said, I'm just going to publish these. And hopefully it helps other people to get a grip on these smaller tournaments if they want to bet them. And this year will be, it's very similar. There's tournaments that have, like I said, how different they all are. There's tournaments now that are changing how they've done it from things in the past because of the obvious reasons of, the pandemic and whatnot. So things will be further changing. So yeah, look for those with whatever conferences decide to do stuff. Yeah, it'll be fun. I like these conference tournaments because you do get basketball on all day. I find that these games are a lot more competitive and generally more fun to watch than some of this regular season stuff. So I personally will be going through all that stuff to see if I can find a little action while I'm watching basketball at 2 in the afternoon.
Dig it, dig it. And yeah, somebody said, is there any good valued outrights? Outrights are so tough. And yeah, it's probably, I hope it's a Baylor Zags championship game anyway. So I won't be doing any outrights until after Selection Sunday. That's my new system, is just wait for the draw, see if there's some value. So, and yeah, there's a couple people that have made some cases for the Ducks. So
We'll have to ask somebody about that tomorrow. What do you think, Andy?
I think so. We will have I'll just say it now. We'll have a college basketball guest on tomorrow, and I'll ask him about the Ducks.
Definitely. All right, now I know you have some golf, but I have one more tennis play before you get to the
have
golf.
been doing well with the totals at Paris Island, which I've dubbed it now, the Melbourne tournament at Paris Island. So, what do you got tonight?
Unfortunately, like we said, I'll probably be on Medvedev -3.5 or 3 games if that ends up being a thing. Nothing on the women's side, but if you go into your sports book there and you look for WTA at Phillip Island, the final is tonight. Daria Kasatkina is playing Marie Buzkova. It should actually be a fun watch if you have Tennis Channel or have some way of watching that. I'll be hopefully up late, not too late, watching a little bit of it. But I think we're going to have a long match here. Kasatkina and Buzkova, 2 players that are very good on return. They have fairly similar games, if I'm being honest. And I think that they're really going to trade punches here. I grabbed the over 21 games here. I think there is a chance for one long set. And I think if we get over there's probably a good chance it goes over 2.5 sets, or again, we get 3 sets. Depending on what book you look at. Some have over 2.5, some say 2 sets or 3 sets, but we're going to put a unit on over 21 games and then a half unit on 2.5 sets. The price there should be in the plus 150 range or just a little bit better. Again, I think we're going to have a long match. I think there's a great chance we see 3 sets here. So grab the total at 21 games and see if we can cash that in 2. And then if it goes 3, we'll be doing very well.
We will be doing extremely well once we get to all these matches in this island. Again, Melbourne. I'm going to call it Melbourne Island. That's closer to what it's supposed to be. So
Melbourne Island.
Melbourne. Yeah, a lot of these have gone.
Jason Bourne, Melbourne.
Melbourne. And then I did mention we have a West Coast tournament. Maybe I'll touch on some tomorrow too if I have some afternoon ones. But some of my stuff has gone off. I posted on BetSperts. I posted on Twitter. If you want to follow my golf, you can find it in numerous places. But these are later tee times. I was able to dig through and figure out if I had any that could still be played if you're watching this live or listening to this before too late. So Norlander -0.5 stroke over Nate Lashley at plus 101. This doesn't tee off for 2.5, 3 hours yet. Or 3.5 hours almost. So we are going to fade Nate Lashley. I'm more than happy to do that. He's not, he played well, top 5 last week, but he's kind of at the limit for his market right now. And I have Norlander rated highly. I have him rated highly every week. I love this guy. I believe I might have even played him in a full tournament matchup as well. I'll have to double check that. But this is one, like I said, it doesn't happen until later on. You can still get some action down if you want to, as well as this one. Mr. Burns over Luke List.
Not Ken Burns.
Greens. Not Ken Burns. No, that's the baseball documentarian. No, this is Burns is a guy. This is Sam Burns. List is a guy I will fade here and there. He's a decent player. I don't have him rated as highly as Burns, first off, and then second off, he's just a horseshit putter. He's a really bad putter. These are tough greens. I'm watching some of the tournament already. I'm catching some of the shot tracker stuff. People are already struggling. Once this happens, this is this afternoon. This is just today. So once we get to this afternoon, the sun's been out all day beating up on these POA greens, give it some extra grain, extra bumpiness. Once it continues to dry out, this is going to be a struggle bus for Mr. List, and I'm very happy to take Burns over him in a daily matchup. So those two, I do have some more stuff, obviously, that's already started. I'm not going to sit and tell you about something you can't even bet, but those are some matchups that you still will have a chance to get after if you'd like.
Is it safe to assume you'd prefer that last one if you could -0.5 a stroke or even -1.5 strokes? I guess on -1.5 is probably not a thing in single rounds, but if you could get that -0.5 a stroke, would you play that?
Yeah,
if you want the push probability.
It does end up goofy with some of these single tournament ones where they put a bunch of juice into some of these, so that the juice is kind of high. And when it started to be listed, List was listed as the slight favorite. So this is like minus 113, minus 111 on the other side, or they give you a bad over round on some of these daily ones.
Yeah.
It's a derivative essentially. It's like betting first quarters. Sometimes you're going to pay a little extra. So List was actually the favorite, and they only offered plus a half stroke on Burns. So if you do have minus a half stroke, I'd love to play that. I just didn't have that available, so I would never play. I never play half a stroke. So yeah, no, I mean you're right. I'd love to lay a half stroke. It didn't let me. I should poke around now. I got a couple hours. Maybe I'll double down on this if I can find it. But yeah, the other option is Luke List plus half a stroke at minus 139. And Carson Wentz got traded to the Colts.
Wow.
Hey, you're from Philly?
It
just came across. So
that's a shame. I would have to go clean off the car and turn it on and sit in there because I don't really know if I have a radio anywhere else in the house.
Yeah, you're gonna have to listen to the local radio today. That'll be very interesting.
Now it'll be all about. There'll be at least, I would say, a dozen callers on this afternoon that'll be trying to figure out ways to get Nick Foles back to Philadelphia. That's how deranged we are here, people.
He's loved. He's loved throughout the community. So, and like I did say, we will have a guest tomorrow talking all things college basketball. If you have any good college basketball questions, save them up for tomorrow. Whoever Coot there asked about the Ducks, we'll talk Ducks for sure, because that is an interesting case. They have had a weird schedule where they may be quite a bit underrated just based on the fact that they haven't played a lot. And they've been playing very well of late. So quick recap, GWeb plus 3.5. Obviously, you can bet a better line than this. I do try to make an effort to put like the worst number possible when I give these out, because I hate saying like, oh, I got -5 and you have to bet -6. So if you got a better number than that, even better. I'm gonna nail these pronunciations right now. Katsakina and Buzkova over 21 games and the over 2.5 sets. If you can get a sets total, I know on Bookmaker they just list it as exact number of sets, 2 or 3.
Exactly.
Same bet. Betting 3 sets is the exact same bet as this if you are confused on that. And then Norlander over Lashley and Burns over List in the golf this afternoon. And we wish you luck in everything you're doing, betting. And don't forget, it's still not too late for a sweatshirt if you want. I'm still getting DMs from people who are getting theirs, the deep dive or the bet spurts. Both of those are Under Armour sweatshirts, high quality stuff. Just sign up for the WinBet account in Colorado, Michigan, or New Jersey, and drive there.
I was outside shoveling in mine earlier. Keeps you very warm.
It is a good sweatshirt. I know I do love mine quite a bit. So, all right, that'll do it for us today. We'll be back tomorrow, same danger time, same danger place, 11:30 a.m. Eastern here on YouTube, Periscope, and I don't know. Maybe let's do Twitch tomorrow just for S's and G's. I don't care.
I don't even really know what that is.
It's like for video games and stuff.
That's fun. It's good to know things are happening out there, Andy.
Things are happening. All right. We will see you tomorrow, guys. Thanks a lot.
See ya.